I've got this door here. So this is a right-hand rear door, and it's massive improvement over the left-hand rear door, which you guys may have seen me that door, like I actually had to cut out, like there was like basically nothing left here, right? I had to cut a big patch out like that, and I made sure it was just low, obviously, so that I could fill over the top, but that was just the start of it, right? It turns out like there was massive patches of bog, like the whole thing was just skimmed from ear to ear. And yeah, everywhere that those welds were, they were way low. So they just like wherever, so this is SL, and the SLs from factory had the body molds on them, which, you know, were never really that desirable. So I think it's like the upper models, like the SLRs and SLR 5000s and all that, they ditched the body molds. So on the SLs, people did like to, you know, well, bog up sometimes, not even weld up, but at least this door here was done at least half properly, even the first time. So you can see this door was actually all welded up. And they didn't just smash it into massive dents. Now there is a couple of little suck in, you know, like it is a little low there, but yeah, much better than the other door. So either way, I looked at it and it was nearly borderline, don't even worry about putting filler in it, right? That's how good it was. Obviously I have put, like these are a couple of the deeper spots, and I put some fiberglass filler in there. But I did decide, like, there's a little bit of a low spot there, and as I say, a few there. It was borderline just put some polyester spray filler onto it. That's how good it actually was. So I am just looking here and wondering, I think I'll probably leave that for the polyester. Like it's actually not that bad here, but it's nearly looking like it's sort of lipping over a bit there. So I think I will just block that out with the polyester filler. So it's going to get filled through here, and there was like a very slight low spot through there that I don't like those body fillers that are too runny. That's why I'm actually really not a big fan of that Dolphin Glaze. I know it's a very popular one. Lots of people do like that Dolphin Glaze. It's somewhat of a self-leveling, but I just found it's not very helpful for me anyway. It can go off halfway through your application if you're not careful. If you don't just get it in. Alright, and this one here was a bit low there too. I think I've actually mixed up a bit too much, to be honest, but doesn't matter. Minimal sanding. The tighter we get it in. That's looking good actually, around there. And that's kind of where it was needed. And that filler actually seems to be sort of self-leveling as well, like to a certain degree. I might give it another wipe in that direction with this little one. This is why I wear gloves nowadays. I had enough of dirty fingers when I was doing filler work. All right, that's looking pretty good, I reckon. Actually, that's I reckon that's going to have minimal sanding. You can see it's actually pretty damn flat. And I've got all the good sanding blocks and sandpapers and that, so. Old pair of work pants, sacrificed into a rag. Yeah, just bear with me today, guys. I'm not like in an ultra, you know, rush mood, so I hope you don't mind just chilling and watching me work at a little bit of a slower pace than usual, because as I said, it's like Saturday at sort of 7:30 to 8 o'clock, so get a bit of thinners onto that. I want to keep these things nice and clean. Oh, that's clear. No, I got some shitty old thinners around somewhere. Dirty. It's starting to go off already. We can scrape the rest of that off pretty easy anyway, unless it's coming off. Yeah. Yeah, I do get some people like asking me if I'm interested in doing some like backyard type work, you know, just home jobs, and at the moment I'm not really that interested in it. Obviously, you know, my Tirana's taking center stage, and like it's more of a hobby. I'm just actually having fun doing the work. So yeah, it's just a pleasure to just have a hobby, I guess, you know. And it's also pretty cool having people to share it with, you guys. Yeah, so originally these are the ones that, like, I spoke to Peter about this set, and he said he would recommend these two. Like, he had a look at the car and the shapes. So Peter Lamb is the guy from Malamotive who sells these. Supposedly he was the guy that he used to work for Holden in Australia, which is General Motors, Australia's General Motors. And supposedly he designed the VE. And they reckon that they use these to make the clay models of the cars. Like, so they will actually use these splines on big clay models or something to make the panels somehow. And he said he used these two, but then after getting these two, I just thought, you know what, I reckon a couple of little ones would be handy. So I did get them. As you've already seen, like this smaller one, well, these are the ones that he recommended, and I didn't even use them on this. Maybe that longer one would have actually been better for there, but either way, doesn't matter, it's in now. But that was actually quite handy for inside there. Yeah, I mean, there would be a good call for just skimming the whole thing with bog, and I mean, lots of places do. All those show cars, it seems to be that's what they do, or, you know, a lot of people do also use the polyester spray fillers, which is kind of like putting bog over the whole thing in a very thick layer. Anyway, I've got to start thinking about blocks and what I'm going to do there. Because, yeah, I changed my mind. I can't be bothered moving on to the next door today. I'll just stick it at this one. Starting to cool back down, which means when it cools back down, it's probably not far off being ready to sand. Get the lid back on that. And I am actually going to have to put this nozzle on that Durr gun here. So this is the only gun that I've got in like bigger than 1.8 mil. So I used the GPG in a 1.8. It looks filthy because I've been using that quartz epoxy primer, and it just doesn't clean out as well as most other products do with the gun cleaner that I use. It sort of like stays a little bit, I don't know, like curdle type thing. It's sort of hard to explain. So I need, it was 13 this. Generally, best practice is to use proper size spanner, but what you gonna do? Probably should have pulled that out first, but it doesn't matter. How's this funny ass long PPS adapter? Like, that's the only one that my 3M rep could get that would fit this gun. Weird, very weird. Tighten that up. Where is it going? Ugh. A bit of thread, oh no, it's a bit of primer or some paint in there, that's why it was a bit gunked up, not too bad. So we've got the 2.5 mil, so that should spray the polyester. So let us know what you guys do. Like, I don't use polyester that much. I've only used it a couple of times in my entire life, so, because I don't do restoration most of the time. And generally, my rule of thumb is like only use polyester when the panels are really bad and you can't get it, you know, with body filler and 2-pack, but yeah, like, do you guys leave it for, I don't know, do you jump on it as soon as you can? Are you best off getting onto it the next day before it goes ultra rock hard? Or, you know, do you leave it for as long as you can, or what? Because as I say, like, yeah, I don't use polyester spray filler that much, so it's always good to get some, you know, pointers from those who do. But yeah, how good is that? Look at the size of that, mate. It's a cannon. So we will need to get, that's right, 1.8 to 2.5. Yep. I did have a few people asking me, like, oh, can I buy a spray gun? And I did deliberately keep this one and didn't sell it because I knew that it was the only gun that I had in capable of spraying polyester. So that's alright. This is buying us a bit of time to wait for that door to dry anyway. Talking shit, and just doing shit in the garage. Yeah, happy days. You can go up there, you can go up there, and now blocks. Now that's actually a really handy one because well, it's got the dust extraction on it, but I like the width of it. It sort of covers a bit more, you know, a bit more surface than these other ones, which I do really like. Don't get me wrong. I've got all these different blocks. You can see that's all 40 grit on these ones. They're the pinkies blocks. Got the long block there, and everything in between. Even these ones are quite handy too. So sometimes you get these kind of curves that you can fit that one in. This one actually was originally 3 of them, but I did cut it down. So I've got the smaller one at work. But I've found that, yeah, I do use that small one a little bit, but honestly, these days at work, it's more just new panels. And when I do get a repair, it's generally just a small one. It needs just wave a block over it because the panel beaters at work are so bloody good. Well, one of them is. One of them's really...
Rightio guys, thanks again for hanging around to the end. Hopefully you did enjoy this. Now, the keen Gunny followers who subscribe to my second channel, the Gunman Raw, will probably recognize this video because I did actually upload parts of this to my Raw channel, but I decided to do a slightly edited version, which is the video that you saw here today. So if you do want to see a little bit more of the Gunman, be sure to go and check out my second channel. There's always a link in the description of all of my videos to that Gunman Raw channel. So it's basically just raw unedited videos which I just pop up over to another channel. But yeah, all that aside, next video we're going to be getting into the primer work and yeah, just continue on with the project. So as always, if you did like the video and you want to support the show even further, you can go and get yourself some Gunman merch. There's always a link in the description. Until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out.